Alright, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to finish up a discussion on getting your gauges wiring up, getting your instrumentation on your gauge cluster working. So a few weeks back I did a video on two things, your temperature and oil pressure gauge. I installed a adapter for the oil pressure sending unit and for the coolant temperature sending unit. I'll link that video in my description. But today I just finally got all my gauges completed, and speedometer works, tach works, volt, everything works. So we're going to walk through that real quick with you and show you here a short little video, show you what we need to do. So here we go. So my project is a 2000 F-150 with a Gen 1 Coyote swap, and we got a couple boxes down here, Dakota Digital boxes down here on the floor, and these are going to get mounted up behind the dash and all the wiring tucked away. So it'll look, you know, nice and clean, professional in here. And yes, I do have the little panel that goes right here that mounts right here and kind of covers this gap area. So still a lot of work to do, but we're just going to talk about what we need to do to get everything working. So we started out with this box. This is a Dakota Digital STA 1000. And you got some basic connections here. You've got a power and a ground right here. And it takes its input, which is this wire right here, from a plug-in on your LBD port, which is right there, and that goes to the Coyote ECU. It gets its speed signal from the transmission sensor through the OBD port. So this box only will allow you to adjust to 30% range on your instrument. So if you're running your tach, which I'm not running my tach from this box, I'm just running my speedometer, and that's going to be the speed 2 output on there. So this is what I started with, and I ran, so a little short background on the wiring harness in general. I hired a guy, Nathan Hensley with Lethal Nate Performance. Can't recommend him enough. The guy is awesome. If you're looking for help with your automotive wiring on your Coyote swap, go to Lethal Nate. You will get more than your money's worth. He will stick with you and do tech support with you. You'll be very happy with his services, and I can link his Facebook and his webpage in the description. So we started out, the wiring harness that I purchased from Lethal Nate, he had a speedometer input for the gauge cluster, which we wired into the speed 2, but we just didn't have enough sensitivity and adjustment on this to get the speedometer calibrated correctly. So what we did a little, we're still using the speed 2 output, but we're coming out of this speed 2 output and we're going into the input on this box, which is the SGI 100 BT. So we're coming in the input here, and again we have a power and a ground, and these power and grounds on both of these are wired to a Keon power source. So, and we're coming out the output, so we have power ground, we have OBD input into this, we have a speed output from this which is going into the input on this, and then we're going out to the gauge cluster speedometer connection right here. And this box gives you 200% range adjustment capability. So another cool thing about this, you can do all these adjustments here on the buttons that are provided on the unit, or let me key on here. Dakota Digital has a phone app. Get my phone fired up here, and I've got the app loaded here. I've got a GPS speedometer right there also. So you load that up, and when this box has power, it automatically searches for a Bluetooth connection. If you're running the app, you can connect to it. It'll show up here in your list right here, and you can just tap it and connect to it. And go into setup, and then when this loads, oh my goodness. Okay, let's try going back here. Let's go back. Let's make sure we get the right connection, and let's try this again. So there's our 100 BT box, setup, speed, there we go, that's what I was looking for. So this unit has its own GPS speedometer output right here. So as you're driving, that'll increment with your speed that you're going, and then whatever you're reading on your speedometer on your dash, whether that's too high or too low, you can adjust up or down with the negative or positive button as you're driving. And so as you're driving, you can just, remain steady at, 30 or 40 or 50 miles an hour, whatever, and then just use these little tap buttons here, the plus or the minus, up or down, until your speedometer matches what your GPS speedometer reading is. That's it. It's that simple. And it took me like a minute to do that when I was driving, and got my speedometer locked in. So now I have an accurate reading speedometer. So I could not be happier. So just a little bit of background on how all this works. I'll give you the 2-minute version. Whatever your project is, you have to keep your original ECU for the vehicle, okay? Of course, you're not going to use that to run your engine. You're going to run your Coyote ECU to run your engine. But you're going to use all of your inputs on your factory original ECU for all your different readings. So your temp, your compressor on off, your reverse lights for your compressor lead for your HVAC controls, your reverse lights for when you're in reverse, your speedometer, voltmeter, fuel gauge, all those things that are on your factory original ECU. You're going to use those connections to tap into to get your signals from your Coyote. So you're going to run an oil pressure and a voltmeter and temperature send and a tachometer read. All those have to be patched into your vehicle's original ECU, because that ECU feeds your gauge cluster. So if you're really good at pinning connections and wiring, reading schematics, stuff like that, you can design and build your own custom wiring harness for that. I'm not, so I hired a guy, Nathan Hensley with Lethal Nate. Man, can't give that guy enough praise. He does awesome work, and he'll stick with you, give you tech support afterwards, and you'll make a friend. So Nate, if you're listening to this, man, you got my vote of confidence and highest recommendation. So I purchased a wiring harness from Lethal Nate. I actually ended up getting an ECU from him as well, because we're having problems with our Coyote ECU. So his harness provided me all those connections. So like air conditioning, compressor connection, cooling, oil pressure, tach, speedometer, all those, alternator connection, like I said, for voltmeter, reverse light connection on his wiring harness, and then gave me tech support and showing, talking me through, where those need to be spliced in, how those need to be tapped in. He's got videos out there that walk you through how to do all that as well. So now everything works. So and the odometer increments correctly, and all the gauges are reading, and so speedometer winds up and reads correctly. So let's go for a little drive around the block here, and we'll show you that. Let me set this down for a minute. There we go. Now we're in reverse. Don't have air conditioning plumbed up yet, so it's so we'll roll down the windows and use the old 240 heat, right? 240 AC, right? If you know what that means, you're old like me. So here we go. We'll just go for a little drive around the block, just enough to show you the speedometer does work. So there you go. Speedometer increment. Had a little camera glitch there. I had to restart the camera, but it cut me off when I was saying that the speedometer and the odometer were incrementing correctly. So I had to reset the camera, restart it. So with that, we'll return you to the rest of the video. Thanks. And we're back. We had a little camera glitch. So you can see the speedometer is operating. And man, again, couldn't be happier with Nate and Lethal Nate Performance. Very pleased. Everything is working. And I know I can count on Nate. So if something happens, I can give him a text or a call, and he'll be right there to help me out with whatever I need. So anyway, hope you enjoyed that, and y'all have a good day, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.